Hello, Internet. I am back. It's Kevin Magida here, real estate broker by day, movie lover by night. And I took a week off for movies, but I'm back to tell you about a movie I just saw. This is Magida Movie Minutes, episode 3. And I saw Suicide Squad, and I'm very excited to tell you guys about it. First of all, I just want to let you guys know, like I said before, I don't really like movies in 3D, so I did not see this one in 3D. So can't speak to any of the 3D in the movie, but I could tell you about what actually happened in the movie. It's kind of a mixed bag, as you've been hearing. There's some things I liked about it, there's some things I didn't like about it, and I'm going to talk all about that today. Hopefully, I'll keep it shorter, on the shorter side, but I have a lot to say, so maybe I'll talk fast and try to get through this together. Stay with me, I promise. We'll all get through this together. So first thing I want to talk about the movie, pretty much the main character of the movie was Will Smith playing Deadshot. It was actually more like Will Smith playing Will Smith in the movie, which I love. I love when Will Smith plays Will Smith. He's funny, he's entertaining, and throughout the whole movie, he had me entertained. I'd watch a whole movie as with Will Smith as Deadshot. The same would go for Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I thought that she was fantastic. Every scene in the movie that she was hilarious. She's just a quirky character. Once again, would watch an entire movie with Harley Quinn and the Joker as well. And it probably should have gotten his own movie before Suicide Squad. It probably would have made this movie a lot better because they tried to cram a lot about Harley Quinn into this movie, which would have been better suited if they had a Harley Quinn movie beforehand, or at least a Batman movie that had Harley Quinn and the Joker in it. But we didn't have that, and this is what we get, and this has a lot to do with what I'm going to talk about today. Viola Davis, who played Amanda Waller, was very good in the movie, and I actually wish that she was in the movie more. She was a very intimidating character that didn't look like she was scary, but all these huge villains that are bad people were very afraid of her, and I wish they would have let that go on for longer. Another character I really liked in the movie was El Diablo, which was the guy that kind of controls fire, bursts out into flames. He had a good story arc during the movie, and it was very entertaining. It had a great part at the end of the movie. Another thing that I liked about the movie that I was actually surprised by is there was a lot of Batman in this movie. So if people are looking for a movie that has Ben Affleck as Batman, this is definitely the movie for you because it had a lot more than I thought it would be. And actually, Batman was probably in the movie more than the Joker was, or pretty much as much, which was actually pretty disappointing when it comes to the Joker, which is the next thing I have to talk about, because the Joker is one of the best characters when used. Like Heath Ledger was amazing, and Jared Leto, I'm not sold yet, to be honest with you. It was definitely a different take. It was more like a gangster version of the Joker, and he kind of did this thing that I haven't heard anyone else really talk about it, but it kind of irked me. He kept kind of grunting. Like, he had this deep voice, he'd be like, and he kind of, I don't know if that's supposed to be intimidating or what it be, but he really wasn't in as much of the movie as I thought he was going to be, and he was supposed to be one of the main characters, but I kind of think that they messed up on that, and it could have been due to editing. There's been a lot of stuff in the news about how Jared Leto's mad that he wasn't in the movie as much as he thought he was going to be. They shot more of it, and there was the studio edited some things that the director didn't like, but the movie that we got didn't really have that much Joker in it, and I was pretty disappointed by that. And pretty much all the other characters in the movie that I did not state were pretty much throw-ins. Like, they could have been anybody, and they wouldn't really have had an impact on the movie being any different. And it seemed like someone wrote out the script, and they were like, who could deliver this line? And just some random character would say something. And that's pretty much the only purpose that they had the movie. Brings me to the other part that in the beginning of the movie, they went through a bunch of introductions to most of the characters, and like Deadshot and Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and some of the other characters. They gave them a very good background story, but it still went pretty fast. And then a couple of the main characters, or the parts of the Suicide Squad, they kind of just threw them in right at the end. Or not right at the end of the movie, like when they finally got together, they're like, oh yeah, and then we forgot about these two. Why didn't they get an introduction? Why didn't we hear more about them? Some of their backstories were literally told in one sentence in the movie. No scenes, just one sentence which kind of bothered me, and I did not really understand why they were there, who they were. It was very confusing. One of the worst things about the movie, in my opinion, was the villains were not established. I'm not going to spoil the movie by saying who the villains in the movie were, but I did not know really like where they came from, what their backstory was, who they are. Did not know what they were trying to accomplish. I didn't really understand what their end goal was, what they were doing in the movie. That even the Suicide Squad, who they told to stop the villains, they did not even tell them who they were and what they were trying to do. Just that they were trying to, I think they may have mentioned it once, that they were trying to end the world, but why? I don't really know. It did not make any sense to me what the villains were doing, so that kind of ruined it, which obviously had an impact on the ending of the movie, which I didn't think was that great. And endings are kind of big for me. But I think the biggest problems with the movie were the tone and the pacing. The first 2/3 of the movie, the tone was literally all over the place. I didn't know if it was supposed to be dark, if it was supposed to be funny, or what they were trying to do there. It seemed like scenes were cut together and thrown in randomly. Things were moving very fast, and it was kind of hard to keep track of who is who. They put a bunch of they literally had stat sheets on the screen of each of the main characters, or most of the main characters, and it was on the screen for 2 seconds, and I maybe read 2 words, and then it was gone, and I have no idea what it said. So, I mean, I'd like to see it again so I could actually read that. They probably should have slowed it down so I could have read it, but I don't understand why they even included it if we couldn't even get a chance to read it. Yeah, but then the pacing of the movie, some things went really fast, and they spent some other time developing things that didn't really go anywhere. It was very frustrating to watch this movie because it had potential. They had a lot of good actors. They had a lot of good things going for them. But then it just seems like some things got lost, and I don't know where they went. So I was a little disappointed by that. But all in all, I would say I think everyone should see this movie. I'm just not going to tell you to buy a ticket in the theaters to see the movie. So what I'd say is wait till it's on Redbox, wait till it's on Netflix. I'm going to give it a star rating out of 5. I'd give it 3 stars, maybe 3.5 if you really want to push it, because there were a lot of cool stuff in the movie. I just wish what they would have done, and this is the problem with DC and Warner Brothers, is that Marvel has already took many movies to establish their universe before they decided to do Avengers. This time they're just trying to jump in and be like, oh, you know who these characters are, right? And many people don't. And many people don't understand what they're doing or who they are. So you kind of have to take a movie or 2 or 3 or 4 to establish that before just throwing it at you and being like, here, accept it. You'll like it, right? It's just action. And I think that that's what Warner Brothers and DC are trying to establish, is they think that action is more important than actually developing a story, which Marvel is proving that they know how to do both very effectively, whereas DC is kind of dealing with just action. It's not as good. But yeah, like I said, 3 stars. Go see it when you can. Don't rush out to see it. But it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie either. It's good, okay. There's some cool stuff in it. Definitely check it out at some point, though. But that's all I got for today. This is Kevin Magida with Magida Movie Minutes signing out. Have a great week, guys.